All right, so when understanding how your plants get watered naturally, well, how anything gets watered naturally, you have to understand the water cycle. So you can start at any point, but again, it's always going to go back to the starting point of rain. So once the evaporation happens from the lakes, rivers, creeks, wetlands, all that evaporation goes into the atmosphere, into the, okay, and then what happens to the clouds once they get full? They drop precipitation. It could be rain or snow, okay? And then it lands, wherever it lands, it can land on mountains, plains, wherever. But that runoff then comes to, again, the bodies of water. And then it goes again, okay? Okay, so a few of you are new, so you wouldn't have participated in the previous lessons last semester where we discussed heavily 2 sessions about soil. But we'll still discuss it now, all right? So groundwater, does anybody know what groundwater is? No? I'm gonna take that as a no, okay? So we have the surface of the planet, right? And then we have the top layer, which is commonly known as topsoil, right? So the top surface layer, so if we were to go outside, the part that you're walking on in a few feet, well, a few inches to a few feet, that is considered topsoil, okay? Everybody say topsoil.
Topsoil.
And then underneath that is called subsoil, okay? In this subsoil or substrate, you will have different rock formations, okay? And all of this is soil and rock built up over time. And in these different pockets, you will have some water. And in these pockets, this water is called, say it louder? Yes, groundwater. This groundwater is used for different things. Irrigation, sometimes it's the water that is used for your toilets, your faucets. The companies tap into that groundwater to help aid them in providing water to us, okay? And so it's good to know that this groundwater really helps us in our everyday lives. So if we continue to use it excessively, and also what's a negative, what's it called when we throw trash on the ground outside? Litter. When that trash leaches into our groundwater, that can have a negative impact, okay? So that's groundwater, water solubility in soil. So when we say water solubility, that's the capacity of a substance to dissolve in water in the soil, okay? So if we have, somebody tell me an element from the periodic table. Calcium. If we have calcium, okay, I think it has 2. I think calcium has 2 positively charged atoms. I think so, from memory. I believe so. If you want to look on Google, ask Google. Somebody ask Google right quick. How many positive charges does calcium have? Is it Ca plus or Ca2 plus? Oh, I was right. All right, so calcium, right? So if calcium is in the soil, which it is, this nutrient can dissolve in the water, okay? Next week's lesson, we're gonna talk about more chemistry. So we're gonna discuss cations, which is C-A-T-I-O-N, and anion, A-N-I-O-N. These are different types of chemical exchanges that happen microscopically in the soil, okay? But for now, I just want you to understand that there are different chemicals on the periodic table, you know, all those different magnesium, potassium, phosphate, nitrogen, hydrogen, all of that is in the soil. It's in your body. It's in everything, okay? And so the soil has these chemical compounds that plants must have, okay? And the plants make exchanges between the soil to get the necessary nutrients that they need. Moving on to water retention. Can anybody tell me, from using the definition, but in your own words, what water retention is and how it affects plants? Say it louder. When plants don't get enough water, that is related to water retention in soil, yes. Just make an educated guess. It doesn't have to be right.
The accumulation of water that soil can use.
So how much water different types of soil can accumulate? Yes. So there are 5 types of soil. Once I say them, I want you to repeat them. Okay? Clay.
Clay.
Silt.
Silt.
Chalky.
Chalky.
Peat.
Peat.
There was another one. Sand.
Sand.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are all different types of soil. So on planet Earth, different locations throughout the world have a different mixture. Here in Georgia, the clay is, I just gave you the answer. The soil is clay, okay? So there is some sand in there, there is some silt.
I said that's why our water be so cold.
Yes. So for clay, we're gonna talk about clay specifically next week in terms of its chemical makeup, microscopically. But for today, I just want you to know these 5 different types of soil, okay? So with water retention, again, it's how much water a soil can hold, okay? So clay holds lots of water. And that's because, again, I'm going to talk about this next week more in depth, but for you to understand why it holds so much water. The clay particles in this microscopically, if you were to look at it through a microscope, the chemical particles hold together tightly, okay? And that allows the water to stay in the soil for a longer period of time. Silt, I would say it holds about 30 to 40% of water. Chalky, what do you think, how much water do you think that holds? A lot or not a lot? Not a lot. Because it's like gritty. Peat is a perfect combination of sandy and clay. So with peat, there are parts of the world, some parts in Southeast Asia and some parts in Canada, North America, that have different types of environments where the soil is peat. And by peat, there have been thousands of years. So if we start, everybody hold a hand up. One hand, the other hand will go here and gradually go up. So as your hand is going up, that represents thousands of years of dead bodies, dead carcasses, dead plants, decaying matter. All of that is building up on the surface of the soil. All right, in a peat environment, all of that organic matter. Make sure to check out our merch storefront, where we have so much merch for you to check out for the fall and winter seasons. All of the merch that you purchase supports our Project Great program and the youth and families that we serve. Now let's get back to today's video. Time provide to plants growing. Again, when we talk about nutrients, calcium, magnesium, potassium, phosphate, that's in everything, correct? Yes?
They help it grow.
Yes. But how? Come on, keep going. The bacteria. What breaks down organic matter? Hmm? Photosynthesis does have a part in it, but if we have organic matter, right?
Yeah.
What breaks down organic matter? It's a type of microorganism. Starts with an F. Fungi. The fungus breaks down the organic matter into smaller particles for what to take up? For the plants to take up that organic matter. Yes? Yes. Okay. All right. So Pete has as a quick review, what are the 5 types of soil?
Sand,
Peat, chalk,
Chalk, yeah.
Sand, silt,
clay,
clay,
peat,
peat, chalk.
It's another one. Start with an
No, so those are growing mediums. All right. So these are types of soil. I need everybody to pay attention, please. We have sand, silt, clay, peat, chalky. Okay. Now, what are the 4 growing mediums that was just read by Jamaria? Coca core, Leka, vermiculite,
Okay, yeah.
peat moss,
And
perlite. Yeah, perlite. All right. So these are growing mediums. With an educated guess, can anybody tell me what a growing medium is? It's in the name, growing medium. You're close, but you're not there. You're warm, you're not hot. Why is it good to make sure that your water is draining in a container? Say it louder. You don't want to make your plants drown. And when she says your plants drown, she's talking about the roots, okay? So we have a little container here. We have plants, right? Underneath the soil, there are roots all throughout. So if the water sits there and it doesn't drain effectively, your plants will drown and they will die, okay? So that's why we use perlite. And then the last 50%, we're gonna use compost and worm castings. Can anybody tell me what worm castings are? It's dealing with worms. Say it louder. You're right. Say it louder. Yes, worm poop. So this is the ingredients that we'll be mixing the week after next. So next week, as I already said, next week we're going to be diving into the chemical makeup of soil, which means we're going to be talking about cations and anions, which are chemical exchanges done between plants and soil. And then the week afterwards, you'll be starting your own seeds. If you have not already selected your 4 seeds that you will be growing, you'll select them after we're done today, okay? Again, I want you to remember, if you have not selected your 4 seeds, before you leave, you will be telling me what 4 seeds you want to grow. Everybody understand? Is that everything I want to say? Okay, let's move on to the next section. What's your name again? Zanaya, can you read a natural resource paragraph for us?
Water is such an important natural resource that we have here on planet Earth, and water that resides underneath the soil surface is even more important. Down below the Earth's surface, there is an area called groundwater located underneath the water table. Groundwater is water that is located in a saturated locales beneath the Earth's surface. Our groundwater is currently being negatively impacted by way of many different human activities and natural events, including road paving,
I need everybody to pay attention, please.
development and construction, climate change, and droughts. Here are the current use of groundwater. Drinking, 38% United States is used for irrigation. Firefighting and wildlife support, Groundwater flows into rivers, streams, lakes, creeks, and wetlands that sustain wildlife and ecosystems. Protecting our water table is vital for protecting your garden in the long run.
All right. So for this section, we're going to focus on the bottom part, okay? So this taps into environmentalism, all right, and environmental conservatism. Yeah. All right, so when we're discussing gardening, we want to make sure that we're understanding how our gardening affects our planet and how our planet impacts our gardening, all right? So we already discussed groundwater, correct? Can somebody tell me loudly, where everybody can hear you, what is groundwater? Where is it located?
It's located like beneath the earth's surface.
Yes. Okay. So the groundwater, I'm going to do a quick diagram again. So I need everybody to pay attention because I will ask you this next week. Yes. You did tell me you're for plants, right? Okay. All right. See you next week. All right. In between these rock formations deep in the soil, there is water. That is called groundwater. Okay. Now, above that, it's bigger than this section here, but I just want to show you this as a diagram. So above that is subsoil. Everybody say subsoil. And in connection with that,
Just make sure everybody signs in on the iPad.
in conjunction with the subsoil, located there is our water table, okay? Up here is topsoil. Everybody say topsoil.
Topsoil.
All right, so our groundwater is used in conjunction with our water table. Our water table is where we have the ocean, you know how the land goes into the ocean and the seas. That's our water table, okay? We use, as humans, part of the water table and groundwater. If we are overusing it, if there is chemical, chemical waste in the water, what happens to you in your garden? What aren't you able to do in your garden? Grow what?
Grow your plant.
Grow your own food, correct?
Yeah.
So that's why it's good to understand that you have to take care of the planet in order for you to even grow your own food or for farms to grow their own food. Because if we don't protect the water of the planet, we will not be able to create our own food, okay? On the back says, what's that activity? Activity 7B, how can you use a garden setting to improve the negative impacts on our global water table and national and regional groundwater? So some of those ways are make sure you don't litter, making sure that you are practicing proper waste practices, and recycling, okay? So those are just some of the different things that we're going to be discussing moving forward. I want you to do your best to remember about water retention, the different types of soil, and the different types of growing mediums. Next week, I will bring some of these growing mediums for you to actually see in person. Again, the week after next, we will be doing, I think we have fall break, right? That's next month, right? So before your winter break. Before winter break, you will be starting your own seeds. I will take care of them as you're gone, but when you come back, they will be your responsibility. Okay? I think that's all for today. What time is it? Can somebody give me a time check? Okay. If you have not done so already, please grab this tablet over here to make sure you sign in for Ms. Jones. Thank you so much for today. If you have a pen of mine, please return it back to this table. Please take that worksheet with you. Also, if you have not selected your 4 plants, please come up here to collect them and let me know which ones. You're not going to take the seed packets with you, but I just need to know what you're growing. Any questions? No? All right. You guys have a great day, okay?